Welcome to part 2 of my special edition with Chris here on his beautiful snare drums that he's brought along. If you haven't seen it or you missed it, we just did part 1 of this extremely amazing Vtanium snare drum. So you can watch all about that. I'll post a link right there. I'll also have a link down below. But now, Chris, what are we going to talk about this time?
The next snare drum is the DW Super Solid Edge. And this particular one is cherry, walnut, cherry construction and half-inch thickness in the middle.
Half-inch thick. That is, it's a beautiful.
And heavy.
It's heavy. What do you think this thing weighs in at?
I thought it was going to be close to like 16 or 17 pounds, but you just put it on the scale.
I put it on the scale. Turns out it's about 13 pounds, which that's still got some nice heft.
Maybe I need to be back in the gym, you know?
Yeah, I think we all do.
Absolutely. So one thing about this drum is the Super Solid series from DW. They've got some great videos about it. John Good has a good video about it as well. But the basic version is the wood for the Super Solid series. They make, single material or, these Edge series with 3 materials.
Yep.
But these actually go through a process where they are artificially increasing the natural density of the wood. And what that means is they've put these pieces of wood, these planks of wood, into this large steam oven that has hydraulic presses, and over a long period of time with lots of heat and lots of moisture, they're actually squeezing the wood
They're
inward.
So they're condensing the into a smaller version.
Yes, so you still get all of the material, but in a smaller piece of wood. And then once it comes out of the big steam oven, it gets molded into a circle and then CNC cut into a drum.
So this thing started off twice the size of whatever it was, and then they just...
Something like that, yeah.
Wow, that's an impressive process.
There's only 2 of those machines in the world. One's in Europe, one's here in North America. DW has an exclusive contract or some type of contract with the folks who own it, the shop that owns it.
2 in the world.
Yes, the one in Europe is used just to make furniture, very fancy, exotic, expensive furniture that we would never be able to afford. And then
so not IKEA.
Probably not, unless IKEA starts suddenly making a super designer label. But then the other shop is actually here in North America, and DW has the exclusive contract with them for drums.
So that puts this in a pretty super rare category.
They are rare in the sense that there's not many of them in the world, but DW is still making them.
Really?
You can still order them. Sometimes the wait list is months. Sometimes the wait list has been over a year. So it really depends on when you order, and they keep increasing the price because nothing in this world is getting cheaper.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is order one sooner than later.
How did you get your hands on this?
So I was very fortunate. I was working for a drum shop. When I was in school, I was working at a drum shop on weekends.
That's a nice perk.
Yeah, and the owner...
I know so myself personally.
Yeah, exactly. I was working for Cheap Beats Drum Sales in South Charleston, West Virginia, which is very close to where I went to college.
Okay.
And I was working there on the weekends, trying to make a few extra bucks, being able to afford my addictions. And, I said to the owner, his name's Tom, shout out, Tom. I told him that I really wanted one of these snare drums, but they were so expensive. He told me he'd obviously cut me a great deal because I was an employee. But once I put in my order, I had to wait about 8 months.
Oh.
Because I'm not famous enough to jump line.
It's a tough itch too.
It's part of the process.
You're just waiting for parts.
Yes.
Right now, I keep waiting for my doorbell to ring. Because as we're recording this, I'm waiting for my new custom cymbals to show up from Sabian. Thank you, Sabian. But, I can't even imagine, ordering something as beautiful as this, and then you're like, okay.
Sit and wait.
Oh, wait. I did. I ordered this special to all my sizes, and I know the feel. But it's worth the wait. I think the wood on this is absolutely phenomenal. But what I also really, truly love about it is the finish of the hardware that leaves the wood to glow, basically.
Sure. So this is nickel hardware. It's not the bright chrome that we see on most of our other stuff.
Yeah.
This just adds a depth, a visual depth that chrome doesn't always give you.
Yeah.
Now, under stage lights, under house lights, it's going to be a little bit different with chrome. But in, controlled studio lights, the nickel just has so much of a classy look.
And it's nothing against the black either. I think if they would have went black, I think it would have made the wood too dark, or
Sure.
it would have drowned some of that beautiful tone, especially in the center. And so being that it is nickel,
Right.
it still has such a gorgeous shine, but it doesn't take your eyes off of that unbelievable chair. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was so excited when I finally got this drum. The drum kit that I play with this is a natural mahogany finish. So it has just a really nice balance of wood and metal. So aesthetically, it looks great on pictures and video. But also, as we get into the showbiz aspect of what we do, I also had to consider, the overhead video and overhead photo shoots. So, I had to pick my drum rug to be the right color for drums and cymbals.
Yep.
And then, my hair and whatever clothes I'm going to be wearing. So that's all a consideration when we're talking about the total package of what we do.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Now, what about the construction of these? Putting the two layers together do you know anything really?
So the segments are actually mated with V joints.
Okay.
So I don't remember which part has the V and which part has the notch.
But it's like a tongue
notched.
and groove.
Yeah.
It's a V notch. And then the inside of this, guys, I mean, this is what snare drum dreams are. This thing is beautiful, and you're not kidding when you say that's a half-inch, full
in the middle.
inch, half-inch in the center. Do you know what?
I think these are 3/4 at the rerings.
It's thick.
But they're all single pieces. There's no other glue except where the segments meet.
Yep. And then, of course, true to DW style, it's got the DW True Tone snare drum wires. It's got the nice, like you said, the rerings, because this is technically still collector series and everything. It's got all the signatures inside. Talks about the timbre notes.
And true hoops and the true pitch tuning rods.
Yep, the DW True hoops. They're nice, and the rods that the tension rods that
take forever.
Everyone has a love-hate with, because you can truly dial in your tone.
Absolutely.
But your arm hurts by the time you're done.
That's the trade-off. Yeah.
So many turns. Other than that, this thing is phenomenal. I absolutely love this. This is one that's a showpiece.
Absolutely.
I would love to have one of these hanging next to. I've got the DW oak stave.
Sure.
This would look really pretty next to that.
They do offer these in oak.
Oh, well, I guess maybe I'll have to look into getting another oak snare drum so I can have a sister over
Start
there.
saving up now, because
yeah, it sounds like it.
This series has increased in price every year.
Well, when you have the rights to only one of two machines out there.
Also when the wait list is sometimes upwards of a year, increasing the price is almost the only way to bring that down. It's unfortunate, but some people can afford to pay the extra price, and
it's a luxury.
I was so fortunate at the time to be able to afford one of these. I was working, I was going to school, and I had just exited the Army, so I still had money in my savings, and then, like most drummers, I spent it.
You spent it.
Yeah.
Two other really cool features, of course, being a newer version in the DW world. It's got the 3-part butt plate, which I personally love. I think that's a really neat feature.
For sure.
With the DW Mag throw. Can you tell us a little bit about these portholes?
Okay, so because these drums, the way they're constructed, they're so strong. The wood is so strong, it doesn't have flex. You know, if we take, like one of these shells, if we take a thin ply shell, we can flex it quite a bit. If we flex it too much, it'll just break.
Yeah, I've done that.
Exactly. So with the super solids, especially at the 1/2 inch thickness, and they go up to 3/4 inch thickness, at this thickness, with all that density, the shell does not flex under normal pressures. They have to put 4 air vents in this drum.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I got one here, and then it looks like 2 on the opposite side.
Yep,
so
symmetrical.
2 symmetrically on both sides, and that's pretty neat that you got those extra vent holes in there. Me personally, I'm a big fan. Letting that air out gives a little more crack, and I'm a big fan of, as I call it, the snap, crackle, and pop.
Absolutely.
In the snare drum. It's a beautiful snare drum. I'm super excited to get this one on there too. Do you know, as far as tuning wise, a snare like this?
So the super solids are probably the brightest version of whatever wood they're made of.
Yeah.
So once we start increasing the density, the pitch is just going to go up.
Nice.
So the sweet spot in tuning for this drum is going to be a little bit higher than a ply shell drum of the same size or of the same composition.
Okay. Well, I'm excited. So why don't we go ahead, let's get this on that drum set, and let's hear how this thing sounds. Here I've got the super solid edge snare drum behind the kit. Beautiful cherry, walnut, cherry. This has the Evans Genera snare drum head on it. I'm going to do it in the same fashion that I like to do it. I have a high tune. We'll bring it down about 1/4 inch. Then we'll bring it down 1/4 inch again and see where it goes. This one I'm going to do a little bit different because this has the 3-butt plate on there. So you can hear the difference between the snare wires. I'll do some at a high, the mid, and the low position for the 3-butt. But this is a beautiful snare drum, and I am super excited to be able to play this one. So here we go, high tune. Now, as far as the butt plate, I'm going to start this. Here it is in the highest, tightest position. You can really hear the difference between the first one and the third one, and then that middle position is just a really nice in-betweener. It's a great option to be able to go from a high to a low in the tension of your snare drum wires at the click. So again, real quick, here's high. And the low position. I'm going to keep this in the mid position for the rest of this sound test thing. So mid position, high tuning. Sounds really, really good. All right, I'm just going to go down 1/4 inch or 1/4 turn and we'll do it again. So here we are, about a 1/4 inch turn down, each one a little bit lower than our high tune. I can really feel the air come out the vent on this. It's a thick snare drum. I think that's probably my favorite right now. All right, so I'm gonna take this down again, another 1/4 inch, and see how low we go. So here we are, another 1/4 inch down. We'll go ahead, see how she sounds. Dirty like that. That's kind of, let's. We'll try it. I'm gonna go down one more 1/4 inch and let's see how she sounds there. So we got a lower tune now. Put this in the high point for the butt plate first. This is a great, great, well-rounded snare drum. I think this would be super great in any application that you take it to. Very warm, very responsive, and you can tell that it is a thick-shelled snare drum by the way it plays. It's wonderful. So thank you so much, Chris, for letting me play this beautiful snare drum. So I had an awesome time doing something new and special by bringing in my buddy Chris, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on out here, you know, and do this with me.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been great to finally see the drum room, you know, in person and not on a computer screen. You know, fantastic experience. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
These three beauties, it's an honor and a privilege as a snare drum fanatic to have been able to not only just see them, touch them, but play them. And,
absolutely.
You know, things like, this is my first time ever dealing with a titanium drum, as much as I've always wanted one. And then I missed out buying one of these, and then you bring it today, which is even funnier. And then you just can't, I mean, that is just a gorgeous, gorgeous drum.
Absolutely.
And, you know, all three of these are special. And, you know, being able to talk about it, it's really awesome. So I'm going to put down a link down below for all three of these, so you can check all three of these out as soon as I get them up and everything else, and hear them all and learn about all three, because they really are special.
Absolutely. The details and the design, they matter so much when it comes to the high end of drums. You know, anybody can make a round drum that sounds good.
Sure.
Anybody can do that. Lots of people do it and lots of people fail, or companies. But being able to actually design something that really expands what we can do,
right,
and gives us more options, whether it was a need or a problem before or not, it gives us so much more for our sonic toolbox.
Oh, for sure.
That I never had when I had before these.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, I mean, these things are both function and form, and only true enthusiasts know the true meaning of those two words when it comes to these. Other people go,
it's a drum.
It's another drum. I mean,
you know,
Zach, why do you need so many?
And I get it. You know, one of my best friends, we always have the same joke. No matter how bad a drum sounds, we're like, well, it sounds like a drum. It does. It sounds like, hey, does it sound like a snare drum? True or false? Yes or no? And, you know, for the most part, sure. That doesn't mean we can't sound better.
Sure, yeah, 100%. 100%. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, or anything else, feel free, put it down below, and I'll make sure that I get you any answer that I can from this guy or from anywhere else that I need to get you an answer from, because these things are truly amazing. And again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your schedule to come see me, which is awesome, and I am, you know, honored in that. And, you know, obviously, you know, I want to take an extra second to thank you again for your service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Which you know, is a wonderful thing. And you know that you're an outstanding, awesome musician.
I appreciate it.
So
thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.